guys, welcome amigos. We have a super special star with us. Hi Michelle, how are you? She's Michelle Bradley and she's truly a superstar. How are you, Michelle? Welcome.
Hello. Hi, I'm doing well, and you?
Well, here we are, right, with this COVID, but
Yeah,
we still remember your incredible singing in Aida. You
thank
honored
you.
our stage, and I was very, very impressed by the control of your voice. But I had some moments that I spent with you because we went to this afterward party, and there were very little moments that we spent together. But those moments, I realized that you're a very kind person. I kind of like I got that from those moments. And
Thank you.
your that also is transpired in the on stage, this kindness, this softness in a way, this I don't know, tenderness. I love that.
Thank you very much.
Your Aida was very strong, but it was also very tender. So thank you. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming to San Diego Opera. Anyway, so I want to ask you. I was reading about you, and so Michelle Bradley was born in Kentucky. You were raised there, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, born
And
and raised.
I was reading about you playing the accompanying singers, the organ, the Baptist church, all of this world. So, can you talk a little bit to our audience about that moment of your life? You were like, what, 12 years old? You were a girl.
Yes.
So can,
Well,
yeah?
I grew up in church, and my parents were very involved. My father was a deacon, head of the deacon board, very, very involved. And my mother was a member of the church choir. And I just took an interest in music. Always had that interest growing up, and my parents, they saw that I really loved it, and they just fostered it. And a funny thing happened. I Growing up, I was always a tall girl. I was taller than a lot of my classmates, and we had a children's choir at church. And our pastor at the time, oddly enough, he said, she's just too tall for the choir now. She looks a lot older than the rest of the children. And I was only 10 years old at the time, but I honestly, I looked like I was 15. And so he said that it would be best if, she didn't participate in that manner anymore. And so my father was like, well, she's already been teaching herself to play piano and organ. So I ended up playing for the choir instead. I ended up being the leader and teaching the children. And from there, my parents encouraged me to teach the adult choirs too. And I grew to really love it. And my parents, they helped me a great deal because I was extremely shy about it. And I come from a background where you respect your elders and you don't tell them what to do, they tell you what to do. So to be in a position to tell people older than me, no, no, this is not how it goes, it should be like this. My parents helped me because that was very hard for me to do. So I got a lot of training at my home church and how to not only be a good musician, but to be a leader and how to carry myself in a respectable manner. My parents helped me a lot with that.
Wow, I'm amazed at this story. I wow, and also being so young with so much responsibility of accompanying. And
Yeah.
I think this kind of respect to your elders, probably that's what I picked up. This very posed kind of way of being, and it's there, Michelle. And wow,
Well, I had a good raising from my parents. They were very God-fearing people. They were respected in our community. They did a lot of things to help the community. My father was chief of police in Versailles in Woodford County, and that was a big deal at the time. He was one of three African Americans in the state, which was, a difficult thing to do. And they just really taught me those things, and it's helped me in my career. It's unfortunate, and I hate the fact that they're not here to see the success that I've had, but they're definitely with me though. And I wouldn't be able to do what I do if they hadn't have taught me early on.
But they are seeing you, sure.
I hope so.
Okay, folks, we're going to listen to Michelle sing for us. Um, so we're gonna start with Aida, an excerpt of Aida. Maybe you wanna tell them what you're gonna sing, and then we go and listen to your singing.
This part is Ritorna Vincitor, and it is right after the triumph scene, and Radames has been declared the victor, and he gets to win Amneris as a result. And I am in love with him so much, I only want the best for him, not realizing that I'm creating my own demise by saying these words, return victorious. And it just hits me all of a sudden, like a ton of bricks, as they say, what I've really said, that in trying to love and support him, I'm condemning myself and my people to a much worse fate.
Yeah, because your people are the ones that Radames is gonna go fight, right?
Yes, and he's vowed to, and that means he has to kill and take over and do some horrific things. Yes.
Okay, so let's listen to your singing. Let's do that.
Okay.
Vincitor del padre mio, e noi che come morne per me, per ridonarmi una patria, una reggia e nome illustri, che qui c'è d'arme forza. Vincitor de miei fratelli, onde olio pecca, tinto del sangue amaro, trionfar nel caso delle cizie corti, ed è tre caro un me, mio padre, de catene ricco. In sala parola disperdete, al seno non patri la figlia rendete. Stucciate, stucciate, struggiate le squadre dei nostri oppressori. Sventurata che dissi, scordar possevo questa ferire che oppressa e schiava il carattere suo, cui impreterò la morte radames, annegano portanto. Non venterà mai da più crudeli angosce un core affronta.
So we are back. Back with this artist. Not only she sings, but she's an artist. And, we see so many people that know how to sing properly, but that's one thing. And to being an artist, that's another thing, to involve, to embrace, to make us feel that we are inside of this magical, emotional layer. I think that's what an artist does. It's like really you feel kind of transformed when you are listening to the voice. And in your case, certainly that happens. So I would like to ask you, first of all, if you could describe your voice.
Oh, wow. I must be honest, I think that's one of the most difficult questions I've ever had. You know, first off, I am of the belief that as a singer, we don't really get to hear ourselves, you know. I record myself in rehearsals and I only know what I sound like through recordings. But when I'm on stage, I don't know what my voice sounds like once it leaves my body. Only the audience can really know. But what I gather, I always get good feedback. I'm grateful for that. But I guess one thing I do think of when I'm singing is strength. And I'm not just speaking of the physical strength that it takes to sing, it has to be a spiritual strength. It is a spiritual um, event for me, if you will. I grew up singing in church. I grew up singing hymns. I grew up singing about my faith. And it's something that's very important to me. And it's helped me even through this time that we're in now. And I still think that way when I'm singing on stage. And I know a lot of the operas I do, mainly Verdi roles, are they're always about love and losing it and gaining it and so forth. But a lot of the women I found this, it's always some prayer they have to say. They're very spiritual women, and I really tune into that. So I think of my singing, I think of my voice as a spiritual part of myself. I always feel that I'm giving honor to a higher power when I'm singing because I do feel it's a gift and it's something I'm very grateful for. That's the best way I can describe it.
That is very beautiful. Um, Truly beautiful. In terms of range, I find that when you go, I'm not a singer, but this is what I feel. Like your lower register, but your medium register is just so velvety. I don't know how to describe it. I don't
Well,
know.
thank you.
What do you think?
Um, my parents were singers, and I remember being at least two or three. I mean, literally running around in diapers and everything. And my parents, they worked a lot. And as a way of relieving that stress, they would come home and they'd sing hymns. And as I got older and learned piano, I would play for them. And that'd be the thing. Every day after school, I'd do my chores, then my parents would come home and I'd have to be ready to play. And that was a relief for them. And I know I get my voice from them. My parents had really, really good voices. They sang in church all the time. And even growing up, they sang in choirs together while they were dating, and they just really passed it on to my brothers and I. And I just really took to it. And I know for sure my lower registers I get from my mother. My mother had this beautiful contralto voice, very strong and rich. So I know without a doubt where a lot of that comes from.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to hear that you honor your people, your parents, the people that taught you how to sing, how to make music. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's the gift of a life. I have a mother that is a pianist, and it's her major gift in my existence. This music training. I
Yeah.
want to ask you also two questions. One is who were your icons of when you were, who are your icons now that you sing, and when you were singing when you were younger, and tell us about your teachers. I met your teacher, and
Mm-hmm.
I met your teacher, and I saw how you guys interacted, and it was, they were very close, very nice. So anyway, these are the two questions: your icons and your teacher.
Okay. First off, my icons. Very first one, Whitney Houston. I tried my hardest to sound like her when I was growing up. And I love the movie The Bodyguard, The Preacher's Wife. I learned those whole soundtracks, and I used to be a really shy little girl, and I'd sing in my closet after school every day. And for a while, I didn't want anybody to hear me, and I'd go in the closet and I'd practice Whitney Houston songs after school. and never made it to her status, of course, no way. But she is like just
Amazing.
one
And
of the
she has
pillars.
super
Uh,
amazing range and the way she sustains and projects her voice. Yeah, yeah.
I can't even honestly. I can't even really listen to her albums now without getting upset. I have to be in a certain mood. I really do. I have to prepare myself because I was one of the ones, I took it hard finding out that she was gone. I really did. She was like that for me. And the way she left here, so it's really hard for me to listen to her stuff now. I very seldom. It just, I don't know. It's just difficult. And so she was my first icon, but since I've been in opera, of course, Leontyne Price, she was the first opera singer I was introduced to. My teacher, my very first teacher was a man, Andrew Smith. He was a baritone, and he gave me her Prima Donna album. And at the time, it was when you had the portable CD players, and I had really long hair then, and I could hide it under my hair, the earphones, and I just walk around, be sitting in class, listening to it, and I was just like, wow, he told me I could do that. And then after getting into grad school, I got into Jesse Norman and Kathleen Battle, and I know that these are Black women, but of course, they are the first icons for me, and they were so important because they showed me a life that I didn't know that I could have. Black women, and I don't mean to veer off or anything. I just didn't know that Black people did opera. I didn't know that growing up. And my parents taught me the best that they knew, and they weren't exposed to opera. I wasn't exposed until I got to college. I didn't even learn to read music until I got to college. Everything was by ear. And so to see women that looked like me and people that had been in that world that looked like me telling me that I can do it too and that I can be great at it, I just took the bull by the horns, and I just ran with it. I'd never had anyone tell me that or you know experience that life, and so I'm very grateful for it now.
Yeah, I totally identify with you because, um, there's a lot of Hispanic people that I interview, and their first icon that comes up, of course, is Placido Domingo, and it's just because we were talking that he looks like them, he looks like us, like, so one has to identify somehow. And
Yes,
also there's this quality in those voices that you are referring to. I mean, Leontyne Price, oh my God, what a way of singing. Or Jessie Norman, but there's this incredible quality of the voice depending which culture you come from. And this is true,
yes,
it happens. Why do we have so many Latin American tenors? Somehow it's ingrained in the way you speak, in the way you talk, in your genetics, and so
yes,
I
very
love,
true.
London Price is one of my icons, I would say. I mean, I'm not a
Yeah,
singer, but I love her singing. Okay, and I think we need to talk about your teacher that I met. Your teacher,
yes.
she's from Texas, right?
She's from Houston, Texas, and her name is Lois Alba, and I still keep in touch with her. Of course, I haven't been able to see her because of COVID, and it's a very delicate situation. She's older now, and I don't want to, bring any germs or anything, or not even if it's not COVID. I don't want to bring her a cold or nothing. Um, but she was very influential in my life in that after I finished grad school, I went to Houston and I auditioned for the chorus at HGO. And at the time, I thought that, that'd be something good I could do. I could keep singing. I never thought of myself as a leader in the fact that I could be at the forefront of an opera or play any title roles. I never thought that. I thought at best I could be in the chorus. And so I went and, of course, brushed up on a lot of my sight reading, got used to performing on stage. They gave me a few solos, and I met Lois through a lady named Lois Reagan in the alto section of HGO at the time. I was looking for a voice teacher, and I merely just wanted to keep my voice in shape and just keep singing. I'd already had a job as a school teacher, on top of being a chorister to make ends meet. And I was just trying to keep music in my life. It was as simple as that. And when I got to Lois, I went in there not knowing any better. I was singing like Pamina from the Magic Flute. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And she took that music out of my hand and threw Aida at me and Il Trovatore. And she was like, "This is what you're supposed to be doing. Now let's work." And she's like, "You're supposed to be at the Met, and I'm going to get you there." And sure enough, that's what she
Wow.
did.
Wow.
Trained me in that way. She would put me out for auditions everywhere, sending me stuff from Yap Tracker, and I would just go. And one of her friends, Robin Angley, she would financially support me at the time because I didn't have the money for all those flights and stuff. And she would send me all over the country just doing auditions. And it, worked up my nerve, gave me performance experience. Even if I didn't make the audition, it just prepared me, just to sing in front of people. And she got me to the Music Academy to meet Marilyn Horn. And then from there, I met Maestro Levine. So uh, Lois had a big part in that. She taught me that I could go so much further than I could have imagined, but not to leave out other teachers. I had Wilhelmina Fernandez, who was one of my first teachers. She was from the movie Diva. Um, and she was a wonderful teacher, taught me how to really be a lady and carry myself well and do all this glamorous stuff. And I had Myra Merritt in grad school, and with her, I learned how to be a soprano. She gave me uh, Non Mi Dio. I learned Don Giovanni with her. For a while, everybody thought I was a contralto because of my lower range, but she took me to another level. And then at the Met, I had Diana Soviero, and I really learned about how to listen for myself and my support. I mean, I've had some really wonderful blessings as teachers, and every one of them, it was just like a stair step, and they just all just built onto me. And I'm really grateful, and I keep in touch with every one of them. Every one of them are still as important to me as the day I first met them. I ask their input now. Should I sing this? How do you think I sound? It's like my little inner circle that
Yeah,
I have. I
and that's
still,
the
yeah,
people that believe in you and they form you, and there you go. One,
yeah.
yes, it's
And they
amazing.
tell me the truth. They'll
Hmm.
tell me the truth. It's not just, "Oh, you sound great." No, they'll let me know, you need to work on that a little more. And that's what you need in this career. You need people that are honest with you, not just musically, personally, because bouncing around from place to place and not having any support, that's hard.
Oh no, that's impossible. Anyway,
Hmm.
so now we're gonna listen to. Is this a spiritual or is it called a spiritual? I don't want to say something wrong.
It's a spiritual.
He's
It's
got.
called "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands" by Margaret Bonds, and it's something I like to close out a lot of my recitals with. And it's also, I like to be very personable with my audiences, and it's a song I've been singing ever since I was a little girl, and just a part of my background that I can share with everybody. And I like to leave an uplifting piece. I sing a lot of serious music, so I would like for people to leave my presence with a smile on their face if I can help it.
Okay, so let's listen to it.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world.
you are a you're you're a very spiritual person. Off the cameras, people, we've been talking with Michelle a lot of things about this period that we've been living. We're about to finish the program, but I would like to ask Michelle, in this period, in these COVID times, this pandemic that has hit us so hard, um, share with us something that has been rather beautiful or that has given you hope.
Mm. Um, it's a couple things, but I can say them very quickly. The first, never spent so much time with my family as I have now. I've actually basically been living with them since, not being on the road. For almost a year now, and it's been wonderful. I'm so grateful to be in a place where I'm loved and supported. And I have oh, I'm about to tell my age. I have a great niece now. She just
Oh,
turned 1,
wow.
and I've been here the whole time and watched her grow from an infant, and now she's a 1-year old walking around and talking, and she's been the joy of my life. And secondly, I'm preparing for a recital with the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society next month on January 31st. And preparing that music has really brought me a lot of joy. And just I'm thankful to be able to still be working in the midst of everything. And I found a local church that is closed, but the pastor was kind enough to give me a key. So I have the whole run of the church, and I can practice and sing as loud as I want. And that's kept me going too and got me out of the house a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to singing next month. And by then, um, I think, things will be moving in a better direction, and I'll have more steady work in 2021. So I'm really looking forward to the new year.
Yeah, and I hope we see you soon in San Diego Opera. We'll
I
see.
hope so too. I love California.
Yes.
I've enjoyed it.
Well, Michelle, this has been a pleasure. I hope that you keep doing well and that a lot of projects come your way. And I thank you very much for your time, for your kindness. And gracias, amigos. Nos vemos la próximo programa. Nos vemos en el próximo programa. Thank you very much, friends. We'll see you next program. Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao.